interestingly, anything that is worthwhile is always upstream. The worthless pleasures are downstream. The first piece of wisdom for grit, which is resilience. Get up when you fall down. The second piece of wisdom to develop grit. Increase your tolerance for pain. And the third point is, you become grittier when you are driven by a sense of higher purpose. And finally, the fourth piece of wisdom is belief in a higher power. An analysis was done of some workers in an American corporation, and they discovered that the average factory worker sees TV. Now, this data is from about 20 years ago. The average factory worker sees TV 30 hours a week. But the person in charge of the production line sees TV 25 hours a week. And the foreman of the shop floor sees TV 20 hours a week. The production manager sees TV 15 hours a week. You see the trend? The director of manufacturing sees TV 10 hours a week. The vice president sees TV 5 hours a week. And the CEO sees TV only when there are educational programs. So, they are willing to sacrifice low-value entertainment and do the work that is necessary even though it is painful. Take inspiration from Glenn Cunningham, the Kansas Flyer. This story is from the 1930s. Glenn and his elder brother, they used to go early to school in the winters to light the boiler so that when the other students and staff faculty arrived, they would get hot water. One day, unknown to both of them, someone had changed the fuel in the boiler. And when they lit it, there was an explosion. Glenn's elder brother suffered a spot death. He himself had his legs badly charred. He was in the hospital for long, and the doctor said that we have two options. Either we amputate his legs, or else he will then remain handicapped all his life. But the doctor did not know that Glenn was a fighter. So he remained in the wheelchair for a few months. And when his parents were not looking, he would try to get out. It was excruciatingly painful, but he would keep striving. If any of you have suffered a wrist injury, you know that when the hand is in the cast for a month and then the cast is opened, then the hand gets jammed. And the only way to get it functional again is to work against the pain. And Glenn was doing it naturally, driven by his sense of purpose. Slowly, he started standing up. And then one day, he even started walking. And then he started running until he was running very fast. And he began running the fastest in his school. And then slowly he reached the nationals and became the junior national champion. And one day he was called the Kansas Flyer because he was running so fast. And in 1932, he went on to break the world record for the 1 mile run. This was the person whom the doctors had written off. He will never be able to walk again. His journey was successful because of his ability to tolerate pain. So likewise, we must develop this mindset that I'll tolerate the beneficial kind of pain. Edwin Moses was another. He was a black American athlete, and his event was the 400-meter hurdles. He was, at the time when I was a college student, that's why I followed him. He had this world record for the longest string of victories, 122 international victories at a stretch. He was a Hall of Fame athlete. And reporters asked Edwin Moses, "What is the secret of your success?" I just love his answer because it gives the key to success in life. He said, "I have a greater ability to tolerate pain than the others." Think about it. A sports person is always working against pain. Will you do that little extra effort or will you run away from the pain? If you are willing to tolerate the pain, progress will naturally come. You know, when Virat Kohli was at the peak of his form, at that time I read his testimonial about 10 years ago or so. He said, "When I go for net practice, I tell my mind, no matter how boring, you just have to do it. And you have to focus on improving one aspect of your game." Look, all these athletes, they don't prioritize immediate gratification, but long-term progress. So to be grittier, change your mindset towards pain. And the third point is, you become grittier when you are driven by a sense of higher purpose. Because if you have that conviction that I have a higher goal in mind, you are willing to go beyond the adversities. I have heard of this story of two warring tribes in the Andes. One lived on the flat land and the other lived on the mountains. So one day, the tribe from above came and attacked the tribe below and took away a little baby with them. This outraged the other tribe. They said, "We must fight them and get our baby back." But they were unaccustomed to the heights, and their attempts to go up, they were always warded off by the tribe above. They were just contemplating how to scale this mountain and win the war when they found the baby's mother walking down the mountain with her little child. They said, "How did you do it?" She said, "It's my baby. The motivation that I have, none of you have." She was driven by a sense of purpose. So when you have that higher purpose, then automatically you become grittier. A very inspiring story is of the creator of Reader's Digest, D. Witt Wallace. He got this inspiration. He'd like to share wisdom with people. He'd like them to be enthused and motivated. So with that in mind, he thought of creating a pocket-sized magazine full of inspiration. And when he came up with his prototype copy, he was rejected by publisher after publisher after publisher. They derided him. Ever heard of a small magazine like this? And magazines are supposed to be of current events or mirch masala, not these kinds of things. But he persisted. He continued gathering content until he had tons of it. Finally, he self-published. He only published 200 copies. Publishing was an expensive matter in those days. And they sold out so quickly, he published more and more and more until Reader's Digest became one of the biggest successes in the printing industry's history. What enabled him to continue past failure was his sense of purpose. That's the third piece of wisdom. And finally, the fourth piece of wisdom is belief in a higher power. When you have that, you naturally anticipate and expect the miraculous and don't give up easily. When you have faith that there's somebody beyond me who's there, who's looking out, it naturally fills you with so much of strength. Just like this little girl who went to a pharmacy and asked the shopkeeper, "Do you have a miracle?" The pharmacist said, "Little girl, what do you want?" She said, "I want a miracle." He got annoyed. "We don't sell any miracles here." But that attracted the attention of a customer, and he said, "Little girl, why do you want a miracle?" She said that my elder brother, was unwell for so long, and my parents took him to the hospital. And he was there for 1 week, but today they have come back and they said that as per the doctor, only a miracle can save him. What had happened was that the boy had some problem in the brain and a neurosurgery was required. Now they did not have the money for it. So the doctor said, "Now how will we save him?" So she came looking for a miracle, her faith, and she brought her piggy bank along. So this customer, whose attention got attracted, he said, "How much are you willing to pay for a miracle?" She said, "Everything I have in the piggy bank." So they smashed it open and they counted the money. It came to $19. This person, the customer, happened to be a neurosurgeon. He said, "You have your miracle. We will get it done." He did the surgery for her brother, and the brother got cured as a consequence of the faith of the little one. So if we all can enhance our faith, it will make us more resilient.